Morning everybody, welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week. Today's date is the 20th of February 2025. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Things will change, probably the week we had to have just to bring us back to a bit of reality, but we're having our own little wobble here at the moment. So if you pull the banks and some diversified financials out from under this market, then there isn't a lot of heavyweight substance there, apart from a few selected stocks like Computershare, Aristocrat, Pro Medicus, Rare Group, all top 20 stocks that are doing quite well, but they are becoming a bit thinner at the top there. There seems to be a shift occurring with our radar focused on tracking down the new movers, which there will be. Property stocks are lurking. Health stock picks have been slowly accumulating. Consumer and commercial stocks like Seven Group, Xero, ALS, Brambles, again Computershare, T&E have all been piling on the gains, and they've been a really strong part of the market. We've also seen some dangerous falls. Whitehaven, New Hope, not doing too well, making new lows, and a couple of stocks that we've been involved in, Bendigo Bank, AMP, we'll have a bit of a look at those later on. Okay, don't we love the reporting season? It just delivers all sorts of things. Generally, we've been on the positive side, which is a good thing. So we do love the reporting season because it's fun stuff. Those that are surviving are sitting in the Stockradar portfolio above their stops until Friday night's all-important review. Remember, we're not a daily person. We only look at weekly data. At the end of the week, we review things. So we let things churn during the week, and then we focus on what's happening when everything's settled down at the end of the week. Everyone's made their has made their decision. Okay, so let's firstly go to the trend intensity ratings this week, and these are from last Friday, of course. Aristocrat, Ansell still at the top. BOQ was still there, it's come back a bit. CBA's also come back a bit. Coles is nudging its highs again, as is CPU. EBO's doing okay. EVN's doing well, GMD and NST are also doing well. So that top 10 there, there's quite a few more still sitting top 10 ratings and all still doing pretty well, and that's where our focus is, on those stocks that are moving higher. So Evolution, you can see there, that R1 level there is an old high, so we're now testing that old high. We've had a good jump there from about $4 to just above $6 in pretty quick time. So we thank our lucky stars. We've actually trying to make some money on gold, because it's not always the way. It's a tough one, and it can be a very volatile one. So we'll still follow this one as normal, and you never know, if it gets through R1, gets through that level at 616, whatever it is, 620, it may go for a further run yet. Gold still seems to be a pretty hot one at the moment. Okay, let's hit some overseas markets. It's all pretty exciting, really, at the moment. This week I'm going to go through the overseas markets first. Dow Jones Industrial Average sitting up in the highs there, no problem there. We are seeing some heightened activity up here. Certainly some selling appeared back here, drove the market down. The buyers came back, haven't nudged us through the highs yet. So the balance has turned a little bit without worrying us too much at this stage. There is certainly a challenge at R1 at the moment that's just stubbornly resisting for the moment. Nasdaq just edging to new highs, but again, we can see a little bit of selling here, shot across the bow. We never know what's going to happen at the moment. The trend has been enormous for Nasdaq and the Dow and the S&P, and they've got to correct at some stage. But for the moment, they're not. All I can just see is a little bit of selling occurring, not doing a lot of damage to the price levels at the moment. Same with the S&P, still actually making a new high this week. Again, we can see that selling pressure there, which brought the market down a bit, but gee whiz, the market's back up again. So the selling is really not stopping this market from the buyers absorbing that selling. Anyway, so that looks good in the overseas markets. Our market's having its own little wobble. We might be down a touch today. Not much happened in overseas markets, but I mentioned before, there's a little bit of a change there with those banks. We'll see what happens at the end of the week as to where we are. But there's a bit of a change there. We've got the interest rate things also changed there. So that can often be a bit of a barometer sometimes when we get a change in that cycle. It just changes, it causes a bit of a shift, as I said on the front page, a bit of a seismic shift in some of the movements as to where we've got our exposure and where we haven't got our exposure. So the ASX 200 for the moment, still trading high and lows, but we're in for interesting times ahead at the moment. Okay, gold futures keep rallying, no problem there. They're just making new highs the whole time. Looking fine, no problem there. The buying is very strong, momentum is very good. Copper is also just actually having a shot at these highs here, and it may take a year, it may take a week, we don't know, but this level here at R1 is a big resistance level we're still looking at, and we have got here to pretty quickly, although we've come off again. But there's a bit of volume there, who knows, but copper looks interesting. We'll just wait to see what the charts tell us, what the price action does, and it'll send us our message when we need it sent. Okay, but for the moment, copper is just testing out those highs. Brent crude testing lows, as it always is. It has been for a long time. Still there, again, another battle here. So things are changing there. The selling's heavy. There was a bit of buying there. There's a bit of buying coming back. So maybe S1 will hold. We don't really know, but crude's has been a tricky one with the pressure being weak. Okay, now I just want to go back quickly to, which I did slip past, was the stock pick count, which I forgot. We're up 3 this week to 64. I think we had about 6 in and about 3 out this week. So I was talking about this shift in stocks and stock movements. It is occurring in some areas at the moment. So we've got 50 stock picks of 158 stocks, 14 ETFs of 26 ETFs at the moment. So that's a stock pick count as it stands at the moment. So now let's get to the stocks, of course. So we go to the stocks here. We're going to look at a computer share here. Don't you love it when you don't believe what could happen, happens? And we see it all the time in the stock market. So if we're talking about being at $28 in November of last year, are we talking about computer share being above 40 in February? Probably not, but here it is. It has done it. Okay, so it's gone from 28 to 42.50 in that time. So the stock market always does these things to us. What we don't believe can happen actually does happen, and that's what the stock market does. So it's a bit crazy, I know, but computer shares going up, and our stock must follow. Trend intensity rating is, of course, 10. It's just been an amazing stock computer share, and it's continuing on high in no uncertain terms at the moment, and hope it's in your swag. Okay, I talked about property stocks before. There's a bit of a shift. They're very interest rate affected and things like that. But I just want to look at two stocks here. Mirvac, firstly, this is the downtrend here we've got here. A big downtrend since 2020. We've got this big support area down here at 180, 185, which has held and held again. Now, if we look at this again, the trend intensity rating is 5. But if I just blow this up a little bit more so I can have a good look at it, we can see what's happening here. We've got this big accumulation pattern at the lows down here, where the buyers are just supporting this price very nicely at this price here. But we've also got these sellers still dominating at the moment, and we need this balance to change. It hasn't changed yet, but are we seeing a turn? Well, possibly. So the last 2 rallies we've seen off the lows here, the last 2 rallies we've seen have been on very good volume here. This rally here, and then again, this rally here we're seeing now. Now, there's been no real price erosion of this areas up here, this resistance area here at 220, then up just above 240. That's probably the area I'm really looking for to get through to confirm a trend reversal. The switch zone is here, where I've got the moving average, a downtrend line, a little horizontal line there. So it's there's a 3-way bit of evidence there that tells me the stock's going to go a bit higher. But I am going to wait till we get the breakout of the proper trend reversal level, which is the peak between the troughs here, which is at just above 240. So it's an interesting stock, Mirvac. But when we're looking at, some of the property stocks have been a bit different. Stockland's at its high, Goodman's at its high, some stocks at their lows, Santa Group's at its highs, but Mirvac and Dexus, which I'm going to look at next, haven't done that well. But things might be changing, things might be swinging in their favour again. So it's worth having a look at Mirvac there, that chart. And if we go across to Dexus, a similar downtrend, but we've also got lower lows here, which is unlike Mirvac, which has got a big flat bottom down here. But even though we've had that, we can see here that there's a big downtrend here. It's now come down here. It's formed a smaller accumulation pattern down here, where we can sort of see, let me just see if I can blow this up a little bit so you can have a look at it. Smaller accumulation pattern. I'm going to kick up this volume as well so we can get a bit of an idea of what's going on here. Okay, so this is our support level at the moment, around about 650. Okay, it's bounced off here 3 times. It's resisted up here 3 times at around about $798. Okay, and we're currently being resisted at the moment. But again, similar thing to Mirvac. This rally here, we've seen good volume. We've seen some selling hit the market again. Hasn't driven it to a new low. The buying's come in quite nicely and driven this price straight back up pretty quickly to the resistance around $8. So I'm now looking at this trend reversal level, the downtrend line. This is going to be my trend reversal level here at about $8 for Dexus. So it looks interesting one. It's been having a few tries and it has been failing, but up until now it hasn't looked as interesting as it does. So certainly one to watch in this seismic shift that's going on in the markets. Okay, so Mirvac and Dexus, a couple of property stocks for you to look at. Now we can go to Coles, which I've been pretty happy about for a while. We hate Woolworths and we love Coles at the moment, but I just don't know why it's so different. People can probably explain it to me, but I don't really care. I'm just buying Coles at the moment. I'm holding Coles because it's going up. And we've got some big reasonable volume through here. Momentum's been okay. It's above the average. It's starting to break out of this trading range, which is a big trading range, and that's a really important thing to me. The higher low here was a good sign that we didn't return to the low of the trading range, a good sign of independent strength, and now it's pushing above the highs here. So it's entered our stock picks a couple of weeks ago. Still looking good. Trend intensity as of last week, trend intensity rating 10. Okay, one that's had a bit of a spike up this week, which you may or may not know about, has been BlueScope Steel. All of a sudden, whether it's the tariff thing or whatever it is, it certainly had a pretty quick jump. But we've been in this trading range since about 2021, between about $25 here, $26, down to around $16. And we traded in this range here, and we've been stuck in this range for a while, and was looking fairly weak there back in January. Which is last month, and all of a sudden we've seen a fairly quick spike up here since the election, since the tariff thing has been announced. So we're not too sure what's going to happen with BlueScope Steel because we haven't actually got through here yet. But this is the level around about 25.50 that we'd really want to see it through if it's going to. Now this is a good sign here. We've got some really good volume happening here. It's been a sharp jump above the average, and momentum is just starting to spark to life. So it could be a quick turnaround story, BlueScope, but I'll still wait to get a close above R1 for me to signal any change there. But maybe it's time. As I said, it's been in the doldrums for quite some time, but maybe starting to emerge like Mirvac, like Dexus is. And another one that's trying to emerge, it tried to emerge a while ago, and this was back in November. We saw it try to rally here. This is Seek, of course. Trend intensity rating is still -3. That's as of last week. We've had a good week this week, but we're looking really here for the downtrend accumulation. We're looking for the uptrend cycle, which is the next phase in the cycle. Now, it could have come here, but it didn't manage to break through here and it failed. So the uptrend phase didn't begin here. Is it going to begin from up here or here? We don't really know, but this is what we're looking for now. And again, I'm now starting to get this slightly higher low off the support level here, which is a good thing. So I can squiggle a little line in here, showing some bit of support there, which is a promising thing. As I've got the volume here, momentum is just back to neutral there, starting to look pretty good. So it's looking quite interesting. See, it's been an underperformer for a while, especially when you look at what car sales and RIA have done, which is sort of mates in a way, but not the same businesses, but still capitalising in a similar way through the internet of these businesses like personnel, human resources, car sales, and property. Okay, so Seek looks interesting one, certainly one worth watching. So trend reversal above here at the moment, and then we're looking for that uptrend cycle to begin. Okay, one stock which has been really out of favour for a while, and I know a couple of people started talking about this one, which is Fletcher Building. Now it's had a great time for a long time. We made a lot of money in it when it went up a while ago. Then it's come right back down from $7.50 to $2.50. That's a fairly significant drop. But we're getting a very interesting situation. Check out the volume here that's going on. It's really exciting here. We're not getting any new lows in prices. We're now starting to get challenges to this resistance area here, which could trigger a trend reversal. Okay, this is the lows, and this is the peak between the lows. Okay, so I'm now looking at some volume starting to push this quite well. This is starting to move higher. Downside pressures are easing. It really is. The wheels of a changing trend are slowly turning. So this is sort of what's happening here. The shift is going from the sellers to those buyers, and we can just see it happening in front of our eyes, and we can just watch this develop until we get our signal. Okay, so and once again, it's about knowing why you buy, and you'll know what to buy, and you'll also know when to buy it. So I know why I buy when the conditions are all met, and this is what it is, which would be Fletcher Building, and when it breaks through that level there, that will tell me when to do it. So all those questions are answered pretty well with our process, but it's really important to first off start knowing why you are going to buy a stock. It should be a very simple process. It shouldn't be complex. It shouldn't be full of conflicting tools. It should be something that's sensible and easy, but also, as I say, simple. Okay, so Fletcher building, still trend intensity -5, so it's going to be a trend reversal. It's probably going to start off a bit in low levels. It might be a 5, 6, or 7, but it's certainly looking very interesting to me at the moment. So it's maybe trend reversal time for Fletcher building. Bendigo and Adelaide, I talked a bit about this before. Bendigo, unfortunately, was back to neutral 8 months ago. So we're back to where we started. In fact, we're still up 2%, I think, at the moment. But we have lost all these gains here. This is what happens in the market sometimes, and you've really got to... The important thing is you know what you're doing. So with Ben, unfortunately, all that profit has been lost. It's been wiped out pretty quickly, but we still need to deal with all this very, very appropriately. So... I know IAG profit has also come off a bit, but we're still up 41% on the closeout from last week on that one there. AMP again came back sharply, but we still managed to be up 2% on that one as well. So, you know, we're doing okay, but these things are a bit of a shock, but you must deal with them appropriately. So Bendigo will go out this week. IAG went out last week, as did AMP, so because they broke their support level. So this is what you do when it happens. When you get the signal, you just do it. There will be... This is life. You will be some losses amongst your swag of profits, okay? But you must deal with them appropriately and make sure you do the right thing by your trade plan and just move on. It's really quite a quick thing. It happens, you deal with it, you move on, your mind is refreshed and re-engaged for your next move. You're not hanging around thinking about, well, is this stock going to go down further? Am I going to lose more money or not? And you live in hope, and in fact, probably false hope, I would say. So you do the right thing by all these stocks, and you make sure that you get out when you need to. So these are simply managed positions, part of the deal. Plenty of offsetting profits which we've got. This week the banks offer a similar dilemma, and we'll deal with them appropriately when we see where they finish at the end of this week, okay? So I know CBA's come off, NAB's come off badly. He may rally the next couple of days, we don't know. But we'll see what happens where it finishes during the week. Okay, so there are stocks that we're not, and that's fine. We just make sure we deal with them all appropriately. Okay, a couple of other stocks I want to go through quickly. One is WiseTech. I'm just pretty amazed at the resilience of WiseTech. All the bad shit that's been happening there, bad news. It certainly had a few sell-offs, but the buyers keep just buying this thing back, and we're now in a probably what I would call a corrective trading range. Volume's been interesting here, quite working hard. It's now gone a bit quiet, but there's no real selling in the markets, which is a good sign, even though at these high levels. Momentum is slowed, okay, that's fine. Still above zero, which is still a positive. So the trend intensity is still -1 here, so it's fairly neutral at this stage. We're above the average. This is positive. The trend is not up, so that's a negative. But, you know, we're in a percent here. If it did break to new highs, we would certainly follow this one higher. So WiseTech's an interesting one. It's stubbornly resilient, as I'd like to say. Judo Capital, we looked at this early in this month, early in January, and we can just see here what's happened. We just saw a nice little jump up yesterday, this week. It's breaking through those highs and heading towards these highs up here around 232. So it's been some great volume here, as we noted. Even this bit of selling here didn't stop things. The buyers came back in there, and we've got a nice little uptrend developing here, which is targeting these highs. And if it does get through these highs, then we've got an extra leg higher. So it's an exciting little stock. Trend intensity rating was 8 as of last week. It'll probably be a 10 if it finishes above there this week. But it's looking very interesting again, Judo Capital, and it's performing exactly right. And you can see it's in a clear uptrend. Okay, so while it's in a clear uptrend of higher highs and higher lows, we will follow it with our stop. Okay, so that's Judo Capital. So that's most of the stocks I want to go through for you today. Yeah, that's about it for today for the stocks I want to go through now. I want to go through some slides for you. Just a couple really. Just really wanted to just reiterate what we're doing, because this is the market we do things in, because things are happening. So trading tactics, a process that tells you why you buy will tell you what to buy. Okay, so that's a really important thing. So if you know why you're buying and all those conditions are met by a certain stock, then you'll know what to buy. And you will also know when to buy when the conditions are met. So how good is that? It's really a simple process. It's just tick box, tick box, tick box. Yes, buy. No, sell. And it really is the way it should be, because that otherwise you end up being confused and doubtful and unsure, and you will lose money. But if you're focused and clear and know what you're doing, you will be very successful. Okay, so this really is a just do it moment. You either do it or don't bother. okay, because that's how it's going to work. A random approach gets you lucky every now and then, but for the most part you will lose money. A consistent, systematic process that's risk managed will make you money in the end. Okay, so you can just take 3 or 4 simple complementary tools, technical rules, build them into a buying process. When the conditions are met, or they give you a weight of evidence view like the trend intensity does, not an all-encompassing, but a weight of evidence view, and then you'll know it's time. It's time to buy. So follow along what I do, and you'll see how the process works. And whether you agree with all my assumptions or not is up to you. But once you have grasped the key elements of a trade plan, i.e. managing risk, you're off and running, and you can then modify parameters and indicators to suit yourself. Okay, it's a challenging but enjoyable and rewarding ride. Okay, so hopefully it works out for you. Okay, again, follow me, modify, whatever. Just have those key elements of process, risk management in place to make sure that you know what you're doing. Okay, so what's happening at Stockradar? Well, not a lot happening at the moment, but we're having fun trading stocks at the moment. So there you go. The last year has been a really good one, but the past is the past, and the next year is the real challenge, which is what we've got ahead of us. So far, we've started off well. The reporting season has been good. A lot of our stocks have been going up, and we've been making some good money, so we're quite happy about that. Okay, so the simple common sense nature of the stock market eludes most people. It really does. They try to overcomplicate the whole thing. The difference being education, which leads to understanding and awareness. There, the process has started. Watch your trends, heed your stops, keep it simple, have fun, and most of all, stay safe. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you.